it was a lot of older guys, and it was all the younger guys was like, we're not riding around with them guys riding Harleys. You know what I mean? All the younger guys wanted to be on Jap bikes. And we started out on them, but once it switched over to Harleys and they seen what we was all riding cruisers, it was.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got the National with the ThunderGuards MC. John, what's up, man?
How's it going, bro?
Things are great. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time.
Not a problem.
You have an insane story. Before we get started, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, and that's the birthplace of the ThunderGuards MC.
That is
1965, right?
correct.
Yeah. And what was your early life like?
Average guy growing up in the hood. Kid growing up in the hood. It was average.
Was there like clubs around your area at that time?
Yeah, there were a few, but the dominating club was actually the ThunderGuards. They were the dominating club back in '65. So, and still are today.
Yeah, they're pretty well known.
Yeah.
So did you see them around the area when you were younger a lot?
Well, I was young. I was about 15. I started dating a lady, and actually her uncle was the founder. And I winded up with 3 kids by the lady. My oldest 3 children are by her. And so I got to be around the founder a lot. As I grew older, I had some of my best friends in there and family as well. So, yeah, spent a lot of time with him, a lot of time around.
Did you ever talk to the founder about why he chose to create this club?
Never did. It was just a bunch of guys. We've all talked to him a little bit, but, the stories was it's just a bunch of guys that were around, and they were actually all riding one day. They pulled over, and then they heard the rest of the bikes coming. They were looking for a name for their club, and they said that sounded like thunder. And that's how they wound up with the ThunderGuards. It's from what I've been told. I wasn't here when it started. I wasn't but 3 when they started this.
No, you got to hang around with the person who created it, so that's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get to do that.
No. It was actually a family. It was some, family. A lot of family members when they first started.
Like when you were younger and you got introduced to this club, how many people were involved with it back then?
When I first got introduced to it, when I came in, it was about 12 chapters.
Yeah. That's pretty sizable, though.
Yeah, it was good. They, but it was a lot of older guys, and it was all the younger guys was like, we're not riding around with them guys riding Harleys. All the younger guys wanted to be on Jap bikes, and we started out on them, but once it switched over to Harleys and they seen what we was all riding cruisers, it was.
So when you first start coming around, your kid's mother, do you have a motorcycle already? Or are you already riding?
Like I said, I was 15 at that time, but I was riding since I was about 10. I was the one that my brothers all had mini bikes, and they would sit me on them and send me down the hill, pulling the cable with my hand. You know what I mean? It's like you can make it go faster if you pull the cable. Like they used to bet, bet each other's bike, and I was the one that had to ride it down the hill because I was the lightest. I could go the fastest. So
yeah,
they strapped me on it, sent me down the hills.
So what was your first bike that you got for your own?
754. 754 was my first bike as actual motorcycle, other than mini bikes and scooters and all that. I mean, I had it all: mini bike, the scooter, the moped, all of it.
And you said your first uh motorcycles were like street bikes and stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So when did you like, I'm gonna start riding a bike? And are you, when you first come in contact with this club, are you like curious about it and you wanting to be involved with it? Like, how did that transpire?
I had family in there, you know what I mean? Uh, ThunderGuards was open all night, and we used to party there all night. You know, like I said, one of my best friends was one of the high-ranking members in there. He's gone now. Bless his soul, Bruce Cherry, and he was also my sponsor. He, me and him would ride a lot together, and he kept saying, "You may as well just come on in. You may as well just." And I was like, "Nah, I don't got time for it." And eventually, he pulled me across, you know, and I was on the Jap bike when I came in, and we took a long ride. We left and went from Wilmington, Delaware to Omaha, Nebraska, and about 200 miles from Omaha, I caught a flat tire.
It's
And
a
his
long
bike,
ride.
yeah, his bike was in the trailer. And he said, "Finish the ride." And I said, "I want to finish the ride." He said, "Pull my bike out and ride it." So he had a Harley. So the last 200 miles I rode on a Harley. And when we left Omaha, I got back home. I sold my Jap bike, my trailer, and everything, and went and brought me a Harley.
No,
Ain't
because you
back
were
home.
like,
Yeah,
nah, I need
I'm
one of
done.
these.
Yeah, I'm done with the Jap bikes. I grew up right then, you know.
So it really like stuck with you when you first experienced the Harley, right?
Yeah. I had rode them before for like short times. Just around the block and stuff like that, but never, I mean, got it out on the highway.
What do you think the differences are of the with the Jap bike and the Harley? What were the differences to you?
Well, one of the differences was on the Jap bike, it doesn't matter where you go, it's always somebody pulling up and trying to prove themselves, I mean, wanting to race you, wanting to whatever. And 90, I guess 99% of them look the same, you know.
Yeah.
But the Harley, you could buy a different Harley and you could make it your own. So, and I like that. I like the fact that I could make that my bike, I mean, by what I added or didn't, colors or whatever. And that's what I fell into, making it my own. And the fact that I didn't have to race at every corner.
And it's
I'm
not
not.
comfortable, right? Riding a Jap bike.
Yeah, I can't ride a jet bike. I just can't. I can't do it.
You retired it right there, huh?
Yeah, I retired it right there. I ain't been back. I ain't going back.
So now, when you get involved with this club, do you have to prospect?
Yes.
And what's the prospecting period like?
Well, it all depends on who you're with in the club. I'll say that. I mean, you're a prospect for the whole nation, but it's all on who you're with. And these guys in the beginning, it was all men, and they were trying to teach you other things other than other than the dumb stuff. They wanted to teach you the culture. They wanted to teach you how to ride. I mean, a lot of people get in and don't really know how to ride. So they want to teach you how to ride, the culture, and about the history of the club. Being a prospect just didn't mean going to the store and getting them a pack of cigarettes or some beer or something like that. I mean, later on, once the club really started getting a lot of members, it seems like that what it turned into. A lot of people just using you to go do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the bikes and stuff
Watch
like that.
the bikes, wash the bikes, a few other things.
Yeah, come to this party, but you ain't partying. You're
Yeah,
sitting
exactly.
outside, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's it like when you finally get your patch?
Bro, only thing that I could think of that was better than me getting the patch was having my child. Just seeing my child come into this world. Getting my patch meant everything to me back then.
What year was that?
2000, I believe it was 2001 when I came in.
It's quite a bit ago. That's 26 years, 24 years.
Yeah.
24 years. Congratulations.
And that's when I came in. I was around them a lot longer, Before that, I was around them all the time. Like I said, I rode with them and everything before I ever came in.
Now, what's some of the longest rides you've been on?
I left here one time, and I left and went to Miami. Then I left Miami, and I was coming up out of the Panhandle. I got a call from my daughter who lives in California, and she said, "You go to Miami, but you won't come see me." And right then, I headed for California. So I just stayed out on the road for 36 days straight riding.
And where would you stay?
Well, when I got in certain places, I'd go get a hotel, clean up and all that, New Orleans and Texas. And once I got to Cali, I stayed with her for a few days, but it got to where it was easier to just pull over on the side of the road, take my bag off, lean it up against the tree and go to sleep.
Yeah, you camped it out like that
because I'd go and I'd spend for a hotel room, and I'd go in there for, once you get in there, then you're no longer tired. You're ready to get back on the road, and I would have to make myself stay and make myself get some rest. And then I just got tired of just spending the money to go in there for, 2 hours. Shit, I'll just lean up against a tree and go to sleep.
Some old school, man. That's the old school way.
Yeah.
So what's it like when you're riding down and you're in the pack?
Mm-hmm. It's a band of brothers. But if you really want to know when you really say this is amazing, is when you can look behind you and you can't see the end of the pack, or you can look in front of you and you can't see the end of the pack. Then you know you got some brothers with you. It's nothing like our brotherhood. We've got a strong brotherhood.
Have you had a lot of crazy experiences happen to you being on the road?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Can you walk me through some?
Let's say this. Being young and wild, we had more fun on the journey than we did when we got to the destination.
Yeah. It's all about the journey, right?
Exactly.
That's what they say. They say embrace the journey.
And it was usually, a strip club or a bike club somewhere, and it usually turned into wild one way or the other, So
being on the road a lot, have you seen a lot of accidents?
You see some accidents, and some of them you can't unsee. Some of your brothers passing. It's just crazy out there. Been close to losing my life a few times on the bike. I've had a few accidents.
Can you walk me through an experience?
I took off to go buy my daughter a birthday gift. And I put her mom on the back of the bike. We're going to ride out and grab her a gift and ride back. But I needed to go there, and I needed to get back in a hurry. I took off and jumped out on the 95, cranked her up, hit about 60 mile an hour, 60, 70 mile an hour, and my front wheel locked up. The motorcycle slid 160 was 117 foot, and it drugged me 97 of that. On my face and hands. So tooth was broken off, lodged up into my nose, arms was road rash, face was road rash, everything. But my adrenaline was gone, and I got up and grabbed the bike, moved it off the highway, and went back to my child's mother, and I said, hey, we got to get out of here. And she actually looked at me and said, you might want to sit down. My face was like destroyed.
Oh, so because your adrenaline's going so
Yeah,
much, you're not
I
even.
didn't even know it. She's like, they're sending the helicopter. I was like, no, they're not. And then at that point, blood just starts, running down my face, and I'm looking at it drip, and it was something. I mean, I knew I was going to be all right when I stood up, but I had no idea as to, what I really looked like.
So what made the tire lock up like that?
Back then we had bikes, and we wanted to customize them. And originally this bike came with a fender that wrapped around and had two braces and one bolt up to the middle of it to hold it up in between the forks. And I cut the braces off and cut the fender, made it look nice and everything. And it worked its way loose until it heated. I didn't know that it worked its way loose, but it laid on that tire. And once that tire heated up with that point in it, it just stopped.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what? They come and get you with a helicopter and everything?
Nah, they wound up in the ambulance going to the hospital. Bike got towed in the ambulance, went to the hospital.
You got to start all over, right?
Start all over.
But I mean, when you're involved with this club, you got a lot of brothers that can help you out with different parts and things like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. You gotta do is put it out there that you need it. We take care of each other.
Now, did you see a lot of accidents in the pack?
I've seen a few accidents in the pack, and usually an accident in the pack comes from a new rider or a bad leader.
What kind of accidents have you seen in the pack?
Running into the back of each other. It's what usually happens. Pack takes off. When they go to come to a stop, not everybody's paying attention.
Yeah.
And somebody running smack dead into the back of another bike. It's what usually happens. I'm real funny about who I like to ride behind me.
Because you get used to the person that's next to you all the time, right?
Yeah. If you're going to ride behind me, you better know how to ride.
I've heard of quite a few stories about people running into other people.
Yeah.
And they say that when you're going slow, that's usually when the accidents happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually taking off and stopping. Because it's sort of like a slinky going down the road. You throw it over and it starts to get some momentum, and then the back has to stop. The rest of the pack is stopped. Boom. If they're not paying attention, they're into the back of somebody. We don't play that wheel standing and all that, so you're not going to do that in our pack. But that gets a lot of other people hurt, but we don't play that.
Yeah, like where people are trying to show off and they're like whipping all around, like.
Yeah, that's not here. We don't do that.
It's pretty disciplined riding, right?
You have to. You have to be disciplined. If not, you're going to get somebody hurt or killed.
During your time on the road, I know like things being in the road are big obstacles. Have you ever had a problem with that? Like there's a tire right there or something like that?
I've had tires in the road, call them gator traps. It's like a gator. You hit it, and it can come up and just slap you. It can put you on the ground. On the trip to Cali, there was a lot of small animals and a lot of tires from truck tires out there. I guess the heat just destroyed them, but it was a lot of it going out to California. I also was riding behind a pickup where a whole grill came off the back of the pickup and started sliding towards me. and I had cars all around.
Like a grill that you eat from? Like
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
cooking
man.
grill. It started coming straight towards me, and I had nowhere to go, you know, and it wound up sliding to the side in the next lane. It gave me an opening, and I took off. But I thought it was going to be curtains for me there.
Yeah, have you had quite a few close calls like that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
your heart stops real quick. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man.
That's where you find out, you know what I mean? You find out if you're a rider. You just got to get back up and get on, even if you do record, though. You know, I've had my ribs bruised up from me going over the handlebars and still staying on the bike. And how I done that, gotta be totally honest with you, it's probably only the drinking. It kept me on the bike. Other than that, I was gone.
You ever get the wobbles on the bike?
Yeah, high speed wobble, death wobble. Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of people say power through it. Some people say, brake. I just back out of the fuel, start coming off the throttle easy. I try to back out of it the same way I went into it.
that's because the center of balance is off, right? The wobbles.
Yeah, the center of balance. Transmission moves a little bit as you're going. Unless you lock it down. It could be something simple as having the weight off in your tour pack or in one of your bags.
Yeah.
Once it gets to wobbling, it's just going to get worse until you slow it down and come out of the wobble. Then you can go back at it, but you got to get out of that wobble.
When the club is starting to get bigger and bigger, do you think that's a positive thing?
Well, like I said before, it was just seemed like it was a whole lot of older guys in this club riding Harleys. And then as the younger guys started to come in, it started to get a little wild. You know what I mean? No longer it's like everybody was bringing their own thing into the club, and the older cats went with that. You know what I mean? You want to be a part of us. We never go out looking for anybody. You want to come be a part of us? Come on, we can talk about it. But we're not going hunting for anybody. But that's exactly what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to come do what we do. You're not going to come change us. We've been around a long time, and there's a reason. We stand firm on a lot of the stuff that we do, a lot of tradition.
I've spoken to a lot of people that are in different clubs, and they say that the man makes the patch doesn't make the man. Do you believe that?
If you were getting your lunch money taken before you put them rags on, if they catch you by yourself, they're going to take your lunch money again.
Even with it on, right?
Even with it on.
Don't matter if it's a patch or a Walmart vest, right?
In fact, when you put it on, you better have more respect for it and get more respect. You better stand up, And if you don't, if you're not built for that, then you don't belong here.
Now, back in the day, when you first joined this club, was it a 1% club back then?
No, we had a couple members that were blessed with a 1, and they wore it, but not everybody wore it.
So it was for only specific people.
It was only a few people, and they were the ones that were considered to be 1%ers because, everybody's not built for it. Some of the guys that join the club, and I don't care what 1% club it is, you have to mold them in and show them the ropes. And that's why you have that prospect period, so that they can learn what it is, you know what I mean? And if they're not going to make it, then they don't make it.
So does everyone wear the diamond now or no?
Everyone wears the diamond now.
So what does it mean to be a 1%er to you?
Well, everybody considers the 1% to be, badass or whatever, And I consider it to just be, a way of life. it's a brotherhood, and it's even a brotherhood outside of your club. You know, when you got other, when you pass other one percenters, you know, it's a brotherhood with them as well. I've got a few other clubs right now that we're all getting along swell, and they're one percenters. And it says, you know, I mean, when you're one percenter, you're an outlaw. So outlaws get to do what? What they choose. You know, live life their way. So now you choose to live your life.
Your club's an all black club.
Correct.
Was there ever a time where there was other races involved?
Yes, we had some slide in, you know, and it's we're not prejudiced or anything like that. This is just, it was built on some guys that wanted it that way, and that's how we plan to keep it. You know, I mean, in their memory. You know, I mean, and shit. Some of my best friends are white guys. You know, it's not about that. You know, I have some real good friends that are white guys. Even some real good friends in other 1% clubs that are white guys. You know.
Yeah.
It's not.
So how did the guys slide in?
Different chapters, newer chapters, allowing people in that say that they're one thing or something. You know. Oh, some other stuff, you know what I mean?
Now, if someone's
They'll say they're
half,
Spanish and they're really not Spanish.
yeah, what if they're half?
Yeah.
Does that matter?
If you're half, then you're probably all right. Depends on what you're half of. You know?
Yeah.
But usually when you're half, you're probably in. I mean,
So now
I'm half Indian, I'm half Italian. I'm a lot of halves, half black. I'm a lot of halves.
Now is it gonna always be that way?
Well, I'm gonna be here for a while, and I plan for it to be that way. No, I can't go join the Ku Klux Klan.
there has been some former black dudes that would join the Klan, right? There was that one guy, remember that guy? He was I forgot his name. I reached out to him for an interview too. I forgot that guy's name. Do the police harass you a lot?
They harass every 1% club. I mean, you know, you can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere and have fun. But they're the ones that labeled us. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the ones that labeled us outlaws and 1%, you know. So, yeah, they harass us.
And do you think the media gives the motorcycle club a bad rap with labeling it a gang and all this other stuff?
We're not a gang. We're a band of brothers, you know what I mean? But, you know, they label us. You got the Blue Knights. Are they a gang? They're cops.
It's a cop club, right?
Yeah, it's a cop club. I mean, you know, they all wear their patch. They all ride together. Does that make them a gang?
I think police are the biggest gang out there.
I'll agree with you on that. But they won't label themselves that.
No.
To them, they're a club.
They want the society to be afraid of these clubs.
Yeah.
They want to put a certain mystique on them.
Yeah. And because we got such a bad rap, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say we didn't always deserve it, but we're not, you know what I mean? We're not all bad guys, you know what I mean? It's a lot of good. And it's a lot of brothers that just love to ride, love to party, love to hang out, just love being together, you know?
Yeah, you had a big event this last weekend, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, well, it was us and 3 other major clubs. We all got together, had a party, no incidents at all. You know, none. Not one. Not one fight, not one argument. We had nothing. We enjoyed ourselves. And, you know, also society said that couldn't be done. It had never happened. And then they said it would never work. This is a year later, and we proving them wrong.
And that's the best thing to do, right?
Yeah. We having fun. Yeah,
what was the reason for the problems in the past?
Well, as I would see it, our problems was always about territory and women. You know, you usually have a woman who wants to be around one club and then the other club, and that creates friction. And then, you know, moving into different people's territory, that created friction. And we actually put it all aside, you know. We put it all aside, at least for us. You know.
Do you think there's sometimes bad apples that create friction that's not supposed to even be there?
Definitely. That's with everything, you know. That's with everything. But there's definitely, you know, some people, like you were just talking about, how is it when you first got your rags? Some people will get them and think that just made them King Kong, and that'll make them get right out of our nation. Because
have you had that happen where you have to send people down the road because of it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. You want to be disrespectful? We don't play that. You know, this is a club of men. We're men. You know, we respect each other. We ride together.
You expect your members to act a certain way in public and not
Definitely. They represent us.
Yeah.
They represent us. And it doesn't matter, because if somebody does something stupid, it won't be, you know, hey, John done X, Y, and Z. It would be the ThunderGuards done X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And we're not having that. We're not having that. We're going to make sure you get home. We're going to take care of you till you get home. Then we'll take care of you once you get home.
Yeah. Now, you guys have a close relationship with the pagans. Am I right?
We've got a close relationship with a lot of clubs out there.
Yeah, but they've been there since like the cultivation of the club, right?
Definitely.
Has to do with the history and all this.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the people, you know, that were here before us. You know, I mean, they got along well with them, and they were some of the high-ranking officers here, and it just stayed that way for a long time, you know. But we get along with, you know, a lot of clubs out there.
There used to be
we don't have anybody that's going to, you know, I mean, that we're going to go off track about. We're ThunderGuards, and that's what we're going to stay, and that's what we're going to remain. You know, we'll go out and party with everybody. Doesn't matter who it is.